Sex Education is one of my favorite coming of age TV shows because it leaves no lesson unlearned and there's no such thing as a taboo topic. And after 4 awesome seasons, it's finally over. You might say, oh my god, you're so late. But I wanted to take my time to savor all 8 episodes before saying goodbye because it's really hard for me to let go of shows like this that I have grown with the characters. So let's talk about this final season and if it had a perfect ending. So following the closure of Model Secondary, Otis and Eric embark on a new adventure. It's their first day at Cavendish Sixth Form College and Otis is excited to open his new sex clinic here, while Eric is hoping and praying that they will not be losers in this new school also. But Cavendish turned out to be a total culture shock for the model gang. The model gang includes Amy, Otis, Eric, Ruby, Viv, Jackson, Mr. Groff, Carl, etc. You know, they used to think that, oh, they are so progressive in their school, they talk about sex, they do whatever they want to do, but this new school just took it to another level. Like, there's daily yoga sections in a communal garden and there's a strong sustainability vibe here, and a group of students are popular because they were kind. Just imagine, these people are so kind that they were popular. Like, they're the cool kids here for being kind. This is definitely a different place, like an alternate universe. This college is student-led and Viv is thrown away by the non-competitive approach. There's no competition about grades or anything like that. They care about your well-being as a student. And Jackson is still not over Carl completely. He's still trying to process his feelings. Carl is in this new school as well. And Amy, still processing her trauma from her assault, she decides to dive into art to be able to process her trauma. And Adam decides not to go to school anymore, so he decides to go and work on a farm because he loves animals, which is great. Meanwhile, Maeve is living her dream at the prestigious Wallace University, learning how to be an author from a very popular author, Thomas Molloy. And her relationship with Otis is a bit rocky because they're struggling with the distance and communication. And Otis is also trying to adjust to not being the only child at home and being the only person around to help his mom because she's dealing with postpartum depression and she doesn't want to accept that fact. And it's still a matter of who is Joy's real father. And also, a big shock for Otis is that there is another therapist on campus and her name is O. But this season is quite a lot. We were introduced to a new bunch of characters. I was not expecting this much characters. I always wondered what season 4 was going to be like, and I will not say I was disappointed, but at the same time I felt like the new characters were a lot and they were poorly developed. I did not get to know them, and you know, sex education is kind of preachy. Like, they're trying to tell you that, oh, this, but it's in the form of therapy. So you can excuse it for being a bit preachy because this is therapy. I like how it was able to trick us throughout this. But the thing is, and this season was heavy on representing different communities at the same time. So I don't think there was a lot of therapy sections in this season as much as in the first, second, and third season. But this time around, it was not just like the typical sex education that it just flows naturally. It was just a bit forced in this season. I would say Carl's character was like a really big deal for this season, but at the same time, Carl's character was kept at the background. Then a final episode, they said, okay, let's just do something huge and grand. Carl is here, pay attention to this person, and this is what this person is going through. I did not really like that a lot. They did not really help that character to be like one of my favorite characters in this season. Then we have Eric. Eric was dealing with a lot this season, I would say. Eric should be at the background of the story. But this time around, Eric was at the forefront of the story. He had a bit of existential crisis and he had several encounters with God, and his mother wants him to be baptized in church and accept God finally, but he's reluctant because the church has, or his community has not fully accepted him as a gay man. And by the end of the season, he knew what his purpose on earth was for, and that was to be a pastor and embrace people in this community and draw them closer to God and just help people. I really like that he found his purpose in this season. Amy finally got a love interest which I did not see coming at all. I did not think it was necessary unnecessary that she and Isaac became very close. I would have preferred if they just remained friends. Then let's talk about Adam. Adam became my favorite character, or one of my favorite characters from season 3 of this show. Season 1, he was a bit of a douchebag, but in this season, when he quit school because that's not where his heart is, I liked it a lot. And he finally stood up to his father, which was great. Mr. Groff was like my favorite character this season because you could see that he was making effort with his son to be a better man and express himself. By the end of the season, when he told his son that he loves him, they hugged. I was like, yay, good for you guys. I was so happy because this man has always been stiff, and like Adam said, he's doing a job that he completely hates. The only time we've seen him happy is when he's cooking. This season, there was a lot of healing and talk about trauma. We're introduced to Jean's sister, Joanne, and I love that character a lot. I wonder why they didn't bring her earlier. I wanted more of her. She's somebody who doesn't stay put. She likes to move around, and that's because of her traumatic experience from when she was younger. And by the end of the season, she was able to face all. I think you have to start with accepting the fact that, okay, I am dealing with this. When you identify the problem, you can be able to create a solution. And I loved how she mended things with her sister. It was just beautiful to watch. And the fact that Jane had to accept that, okay, I am dealing with postpartum depression. I am struggling, because even with her workload and the fact that Joy's real father doesn't even know that Joy exists, and dealing with her teenage son, and initially she did not want to accept the fact that she is dealing with this problem. And when she finally accepted that fact, she got help, although she was rejecting the help at first. I loved it for her. My favorite character this season has to be O, the other therapist on campus. I love her character so much. I wish that I saw her earlier. I don't think I got enough of her, though she was like opposing Otis. Otis has never been my favorite character, funny enough. I have always liked Maeve and also Ruby. This season, Ruby is a different person because a different school. Her friends went to other schools. Yes, we know have some of our characters returning this season. We got to see how Ruby turned out to be this person that she is, this mean girl attitude and all of that, and her dealing with it, processing it, was like a really big step, and I think I really like that. Let's talk about Otis and Maeve's relationship. We all know long distance relationships are not easy, and this one was really tough because we have always been rooting for Otis and Maeve to end up together, and when they did finally come together, they broke up. They actually broke up, and I'm not mad about it because they are very young. They can find love, and the reason why they broke up is because Maeve had to face her dream, even though she was like, we can make this work, and he was like, no. I like the fact that he did not just try to string her along, that okay, we'll make this work, when he knew he was struggling with the fact that they were in a long distance relationship and Otis has abandonment issues. So I like that they broke up. Maeve lost her mother this season, so she had to come back for the burial to give her mother a proper goodbye, even though her mother was not the best person. Another thing I liked about this season was Eric finally finding people from his community that he could really talk to and go to, that understood him a lot. This does not take away the fact that he and Otis are still friends and they have a beautiful friendship. Still, he had a community and people who could relate to what he was going through. So I loved it for Eric. As a matter of fact, this is Eric's season. This is not about Otis this season. This is about Eric. Honestly, this season was not about Otis at all. It was about a whole lot of people. Well, I think that the themes this season and the tune was really nice. The cast did not disappoint in embodying these characters that they were playing. As much as I liked this season and it was about saying goodbye and just wrapping things up, this is not my favorite season of Sex Education, and I will rate it 3.5 stars. It's a beautiful story, but like I mentioned earlier, the new characters were not fully developed. I wish there was a little bit more, but wrapping up the stories of the old characters was really beautiful. It felt nice. I will always recommend Sex Education for anybody to watch. It's about characters just navigating love, friendship, and the complexity of teenage life. From awkward beginnings to empowering discoveries in ways you have never seen before. That's one thing about Sex Education. If you like coming of age stories, I think you'll love Sex Education. Do I think this was a perfect end for Sex Education? I don't think so. Although I think it was time to end this series, I do not think this was the perfect end. It was not a bad or a horrible ending. If you've seen this last season, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and Do well to like this video, share and subscribe to We Are Binge Watching. I am Uniforme and I will see you another time. Bye.